Okay. All right, guys. So here we are. This is the Elite Mastermind group, and we come together and we're doing this meeting here because we want to encourage people during this time of difficulty and stress that most people are going through. We want to encourage people. In addition to that, we want to give people strategies. We want to give people tools on how and what they can do to manage their mindset and manage their health. We have a health expert in the room, Nick Vidal. And just real quick, I'm gonna go around the room. Just introduce yourself. As many of you may or may not know, my name is Martin Perdomo. I'm the elite strategist. I'm a mindset coach and a real estate investor, and I'll be sharing some mindset strategies with you as we go along through this talk that we're having. Victor, why don't you introduce yourself for those that don't know you?
Sure. My name is Victor Reynoso. I'm the owner of VDL Homes. I am a real estate investor, project manager, and one of Martin's mentees. And so for me, been super happy to be involved in the group, this collective group of elite minds.
Okay, great. Nick?
Yep, I'm Nicholas Vidal, functional health detective, certified functional medicine health coach. So if you need any advice on health or any tips in regard to that, that is my superpower. And definitely happy to be a part of this group because it definitely helps us to keep in a positive mindset and have communication at the same time.
Okay, great. And Lisa?
Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa Mangru. I'm a real estate investor here in Pennsylvania, and I'm just here to help uplift and encourage everyone during these crazy times. We've got to stay strong, got to keep our mindset strong.
Perfect. And Tiffany?
Hey, I'm Tiffany. I'm an entrepreneur and a digital marketer and a mother of two, who you'll most likely hear in the background. And I'm just here to help everyone find their opportunity in this.
Okay, great. So I want to go around the room, and I guess I'll start with, and the question is, what's the thing that you guys all are individually doing to manage your mindset in this to stay sane, guys? You know, what are you guys doing to stay sane in this crisis, in this pandemic that we're going through right now? What are you guys doing? I'll start, and then we'll go same rotation, right? So one of the things I'm doing, I'm really big on habits. I'm really big on habits and the things that you do every day, the little things you do every day. So I'm really big on meditating. I meditate every day. So I take 15 minutes every day to meditate. And I work out. So I have this vigorous ritual, and I write in my journal gratitude, and then I set out my desired outcome for the day. So I kind of channel my focus towards what I want right from the beginning. First meditating, then gratitude journal, then I work out, get my body, get my nervous system going. That is something I do all the time. That is not something I am just starting to do now. That's something I do when we're not in crisis, because it helps me stay grounded. And I'm going to share in a little bit some of the things that I recommend, that not that I recommend, but experts recommend that one should be doing to avoid depression, to avoid anxiety during times like this. Vic, what are you doing?
So for me, nothing really has changed besides what's going on out there in the world. It's out of my control. I have my ritual. I have my habits in order. I'm reading, I'm writing, I'm exercising, I'm watching what I eat, just staying very positive, watching very little news. Any negativity that's coming my way, I reject that, and I give people a positive advice. I don't use the term fear. You know, it's just keeping everything as normal as possible on my end. I'm following my my system that you provided, Martin, which is the result driven system, and just keeping my focus in my business. I'm still dealing from home. I'm working from home. I'm helping my wife. We have 2 kids at the house, and sorry, getting a phone call here in my office. And yeah, just staying super focused. This is gonna pass very, very soon, and just staying away from the bad stuff.
So what about Nick? What about those people? When you answer, Nick, what about those people that are out there that may not have a group like this, right, where they can share? Maybe they're not into the personal development stuff, and they haven't been doing stuff. What can you tell those people, right? What can you tell those people? What can they do? Maybe the rest of you can answer that. Nick, maybe you can add to what you're doing and then kind of give them advice on that. What would you tell those people, being that you're a health guy too?
Absolutely. I'm a huge advocate that health is the ultimate wealth. For many of us, it may be hard to change our thinking pattern, but it is so much easier to change our physiology, because a clean body is a clean mind. For me, that's been my personal story in life, that the better I take care of my body, that actually helps my mindset. So I've continued to maintain my health, support myself nutritionally, get outside, going for walks, getting fresh air, getting exercise, really avoiding processed junk food, avoiding alcohol, avoiding anything that's going to lower my energy.
So that's a lot,
as
Nick.
possible.
That's a lot. That's a lot. So here's what we want to do, right? So that's a lot for someone that's not in your space or in my space, right? Or around this kind of energy. So what happens with the brain, as we both know, is 1, 2, 3, too many. Anything after 3 is too many. The brain goes, too many things I have to do. So what's the one thing that you would recommend someone? What's the one thing that can deliver
The number one thing to change our number one thing to change our physiology is movement. So we could do deep breathing, we could jump on a rebounder, we could go for a walk, we could do yoga, anything that gets the blood flowing, that brings oxygen into the body. If we literally start moving, we will literally feel better within a couple of minutes. Anytime I'm down in the dumps, I will go for a walk, I'll go for a quick jog, I will get my body moving, and that automatically puts me in a good mood. And there's also a chemistry behind that. When we're doing that, we're releasing endorphins. Now we have more happy chemicals, and now we're feeling better, we're thinking clearer, we have a more positive mindset. So that is the absolute number one easiest thing for us to do. Also breathing. So I did a 4x4 technique. Literally you inhale 4 seconds, hold 4 seconds, release 4 seconds, and you could do 5 to 10 rounds of that. That will literally change our thinking in a matter of seconds.
That's awesome. I do a similar technique myself, but I do the 4 and then just keep feeding oxygen to my brain, and it changes my state. That's a great strategy. That's a really, really good strategy. Lisa, what about you? What are you doing, and what's the one thing you would recommend to someone that maybe, like I said, doesn't have this support, doesn't have a group like this, is not into reading, and
Right.
they're just watching this now for the first time?
Okay. So for me, the one special thing that I do, because I do a lot of the things that you guys are doing as well, gratitude, morning affirmations, exercise, putting healthy things in the body, all these things that I kind of like to do a lot. But the one thing that I do that I find will kind of like quickly snap me back into the type of thinking that I want to be having, like the type of thoughts running through my mind. I kind of like make this promise to myself every day that I will be the observer and not the participant. So what that means is that I just go to a place of center, I go to a place of peace, and I watch and I observe. And it doesn't matter whether what I'm observing could be perceived as something really, really great, or maybe it's perceived as something really, really bad, but I put myself in a space of just observing. I see it. I recognize it. My brain is processing it, but it's not affecting the way that I feel. So I'm not like associating what I'm observing with something. And what happens is it allows me to think very clearly. And then it allows me to think and feel from a place of solution. So if there's something that's wrong, I can look at it and say, oh, this is happening. And as I'm watching it happening, and I'm in this state of observation. I am almost like purposefully being in this state of observation. Now I'm able to think clearly on solutions. What can I do to fix this situation? What can I do to make it better, to improve it? And that really puts me in a really great frame of mind. When I lose sight of that, and then I become the participant, if it's something that's bad, that's when the worry kicks in. That's when the fear kicks in. So reminding myself every day, and that was also before this event occurred and took place. Every day I wake up in the morning, I promise myself to be the observer, to make sure that I am living from a place of proactiveness rather than reactiveness, if that makes sense for anyone.
So I just want to make sure, because you said a lot, you gave a lot of good nuggets there. The one thing that you would recommend someone, because we don't want to give people a lot of things. And by the way, if those of you tuning in right now and are just starting to watch, this is the Elite Mastermind group, and we are just sharing positive news, and we are sharing strategies on what you can do during these times to empower yourself, to get yourself healthier mentally, like how to get out of your funk. And Lisa said her one thing is to be the observer. That's really cool, Lisa. That's a meditating technique, as we both know. Being the observer, that's really cool. So not to take things personal, but to kind of see things from a third eye, from a third perspective, right? Seeing the situation, you, the physical person, just watching things unfold.
You're just watching it, right? You're just watching, and that's all.
That's pretty neat. Tiff, what about you, my dear? What about you? What's
I'm doing part of it right now, which is getting out, walking around, remembering that it's important to be in the moment and just to experience it. And I think picking up on what Lisa said, picking up on just experiencing that moment. When you have little ones, I have a 2 and a 7-year-old, there's no time to sit and lament and, sit in that, because you're always the leader of somebody, and having children means that they're looking to you. How do you respond to this? How should I learn to respond to this? So for me, it's remembering my position as a leader, not just for my business and for my employees and for my clients, but also for my family.
Well, what about to those people that are not in a position of leadership, right? Maybe someone doesn't feel that they don't feel that they're in a position of leadership. They're just, someone that doesn't have a family or doesn't have a business. But what's the one thing that you would tell that person? Because they're watching, that person is watching right now.
That's the trick, is that we're always the leader of somebody, right? And right now, a lot of us that have parents that are older are also, we're in a position of leadership when it comes to our family and expressing confidence and not fear, but also, an encouragement to take the precautions that are necessary. So, when you look around, sometimes it's just waving to somebody across the street. You can take that leadership. A leader isn't a leader because they have followers. A leader is a leader because of who they are on the inside, and drawing upon everybody has the ability to be a leader in some way, shape, or form. So drawing on that inner leadership, I think, is an important opportunity to ground.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Nick, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in regard to leadership, it's sort of, if we become the leader of ourselves, in turn, we can help to inspire others to step up and lead. And in order to be a leader, we don't need a large base of followers. It's a matter of sort of just stepping up and doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done. So that was sort of my own self-definition of leadership.
Yeah, correct. And Vic, what do you think? What are your thoughts? What you didn't really tell us. What's the one thing? I want to go back to you. What's the one thing that you would recommend to someone that is going through this right now.
Yeah.
And,
So
to get out of the funk, to get out of all the bad news. And again, it's all in the meaning, right? Because hey, we're all watching the same news, we're all hearing the same information. The difference is the meaning that we're putting behind that information. That's the difference. The difference is the perspective, the meaning we're giving it is giving us different perspective than someone else that's seeing the same information and they're feeling depressed and they're feeling down. And I reject that for all of us and all of you watching. That's the difference. So what do you recommend, Vic?
for me, my recommendation is pretty much reiterating what the group has said. Being present, recognizing that, hey, you're going down a bad path mentally.
How does one recognize that? How do you recognize that when you're going down a bad path?
For me, personally, I feel it in my gut.
Mm-hmm. Your nervous system never lies, man. Never lies.
Never lies. Through the books that I've read, that voice in our head becomes so familiar that we don't even hear it sometimes.
Which voice? Which voice?
The negative voice.
The disempowering voice. Okay.
All right. Yeah. They say we have two voices on our shoulder, the good and the bad. They call it the angel and the devil, but for me, it's all in the nervous system. Nervous system is what keeps us grounded. It tells us everything.
So how do you shift? How do you shift? How do you pivot when you feel that?
First is recognizing it, which is pretty hard. But you have to be in your intuition. I would recommend the trick for me is snapping out of it. Whether you're snapping your finger, just making a noise, or using the rubber band strategy, snapping that rubber band on your wrist, neuro conditioning yourself. That's gonna snap you out of that state, and immediately do something. As Nick said, go outside, take a walk, try to get some fresh air, and one thing is switch your mindset to being grateful for what you have. Look for the positivity in your life, and that's what I recommend in these times.
Yep. There's that part of our brain, right, that is always looking for the bad. And like I said, if you want to master, like Tony Robbins says, if you want to master life, if you want to master your life, you have to master meaning and emotion. Meaning, what's the meaning that you're giving to certain events, right? So what's the meaning that we're giving? What's the meaning that you are all individually giving to this event? And I'm going to go to that question in a moment, because I want people watching to see the different meanings that different people give to the same exact event, and how that different meaning creates a different emotion in our body, a different feeling in our body, and gives us a different thought process. For me, all right, the meaning I'm giving this is a very serious thing. I'm not taking it lightly. It is a serious thing. It's real. However, there will also be a lot of opportunity, right? There will also be a lot of opportunities for those of us that can stay grounded and can look at this thing from a different perspective and not freak out while everyone is freaking out. Warren Buffett says, when everyone is greedy, pull back, right? Be cautious. When everyone is fearful, be greedy and go hard. I've always been an advocate, not always, I've learned that through the years. Let me retake that. I've learned that through the years, that when we have to learn to ask better questions, right? We have to learn to ask, well, why am I feeling this feeling? What else could this mean? Why does that person believe everything, or why is that person doing that, what everyone else is doing? Why are they doing it? What information? And dig and ask. And what you'll find is that a lot of times, what I found, and you may or may not find this as you investigate and you do this, is that when you start doing that, you'll find that a lot of folks, and I'm not suggesting that any of you are this, but a lot of folks are just following the follower. And they're not getting the right information. They're not thinking for themselves. I'm going to be honest, man. Okay. A lot of us are just lazy. A lot of us are just, and I shouldn't say lazy. That's not the right word, but a lot of us are just too caught up in life and don't ever take the time to think and ask questions. Yes or yes, guys. Right?
Yes.
A lot of us are caught up just doing things, just as Napoleon Hill says in the hypnotic rhythm, doing the things that we do, and never take the time to stop and say, hey, why is that? And why are they saying I got to do that? And who's behind that? And who has anything to gain or not to gain by me doing that? Right? These are critical questions that we should be asking, not just in this situation, but in life. It's critical thinking. It's just a way of being, looking at things from different perspectives, right? That opens up your mind to observe from a different perspective. That's my meaning to this thing and my perspective. What about you? I'm going to go to Nick here.
Yeah, it's pretty much this the time of where are we called to serve best? How can we serve best?
So
How can we take our superpower?
What's the meaning you're giving this thing? Remember, meaning. What's the meaning you're giving this?
The meaning I'm giving this is a ton of opportunity. I had thought things were going to go one way, physical office location completely closing down, which is an amazing opportunity because it's forcing me to take my entire business online. Because of that, I'm going to be able to reach more people, impact more people, and really be able to serve many. Not only that, also help out yoga studios, other personal trainers, health coaches, by really cross-promoting each other and really helping other businesses while helping other people get healthy. So right now, this is an amazing opportunity, and it's really a matter of how can we shift our thinking. The whole world is pretty much on the internet right now. That's where the attention is. That's where the flow is. We just have to get in there.
So those people watching this is the Elite Mastermind group. We're recording this so that we can share with the world, give them strategies on how they can get out of their funk or deal with this crisis that we're currently going through. And so, Lisa, what are your thoughts? What is the meaning you're giving this? So Nick is giving this. He sees opportunities. Nick is seeing opportunities, right? Nick, you're looking at this as, hey,
yeah.
You know what else though, Nick? I'm gonna keep it real with you, brother. You're healthy, man. You're a health guy, right? You're naturally a healthy guy. You always eat good. Those are habits, and I just want people to pay attention to this, okay? Because you live a healthy lifestyle, Nick. You teach others how to be healthy. You what is that noise? Something's vibrating on the table or something.
Sorry. All right, we're good.
Yeah. You live a healthy lifestyle on an ongoing basis, Nick. Your habits are healthy, so you're always taking those vitamins. You're always intaking the right stuff. You're always fueling your body with the right stuff. So when something like this comes out, right, which has, you're confident in yourself. You're confident in your health because you've been doing all of the right things all along. And that doesn't make you totally immune to it, but you feel confident that you've been doing all the right things with your health, with your body, taking the right vitamins when there wasn't a pandemic, when there wasn't, I know because you've been preaching that stuff to me, right? You're my health coach, right? So you've been doing all the right things during that time. So now you have the ability to be confident and seek opportunities. But what about those people that haven't? What about those people that are now like, oh shoot, I gotta, what do I do?
That is a very easy answer. The best time to start is yesterday. If you miss that day, the next best time to start is right now, this very second. You don't have to change a bunch of stuff. Try to instill one habit. If you have not exercised recently, get out, maybe try to do a workout. If you have not watched what you've been eating, Maybe try different vegetables, different produce, look up different recipes. There's amazing resources out there. Just try to take one thing and try to make a habit out of that this week. And maybe try to see, can you make a challenge out of it? Can you do it Monday? Can you do it Tuesday? Can you do it Wednesday? Once you nail that habit, you're very confident. And then that's called habit stacking. So you now have this habit plus this habit plus this habit. It now happens on autopilot, the same way we brush our teeth and take a shower every day. It just happens without us thinking about it. So there's a lot of great things we can do. And that's definitely from personal experience. When we do maintain our physiology, that helps us maintain our psychology. It's so much easier. I used to be very depressed, very upset. Things would always overwhelm me. And now it's like I feel so robust to take on no matter what adversity comes my way, because my body's strong and therefore my mind is strong. And as long as we have those two things, we can handle anything that life throws at us.
Excellent, excellent. Lisa, what do you think? What's the meaning you're giving this thing?
So I'm not gonna lie, I've had probably more than one meaning since all this has started happening. So
One what?
the
Meaning?
first,
Meaning.
more than one meaning
Okay.
of what's happening. So the first meaning I saw was opportunity. I definitely saw opportunities in my industry as a real estate investor. I also saw other opportunities as well. Of course, we know when there are times like this, like when the market crashes and things like that happen, we know that a lot of success is made during these times. Lots of millionaires are made during down times like these, which is great. But in just, seeing the progression of this and what's happening, I'm starting to see other opportunities as well. I see these opportunities, but now I also see a lot more opportunity for community, especially during a time when, we all have to self-isolate. But now more than ever is when we need our community. We need not only our family and friends, but other people as well, because we're really going to need to lean on each other. I think we're going to see a lot of people's humanity grow during this time. We're going to have a lot of togetherness, and I'm really excited to see that. I'm really excited to see that happen, because people will want to band together for human survival at this point. And usually everyone's so individualistic, they're only concerned about what's going on with them personally or what's going on in their household, and usually beyond that, there's not really any connection. I think we're going to start to see more connection in these next coming weeks and months, because we're really going to have to lean on each other and depend on each other for support and strength and upliftment, encouragement, love. These are all the things we're going to need. So I see a lot of opportunity now there as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Lisa. Tiffany, I want to go to you. I want to real quick reiterate what you said, Lisa. You said there's going to be opportunity for community. You gave this thing a few different meanings. Most importantly, humanity and opportunity for community, people coming together and helping each other, correct?
Yes.
That's right. Tiffany, what's the meaning you're giving this thing, and where is your mind with this current situation?
Okay, so having had a business that's lived through everything from the dot-com bust to 9/11 to 2008.
Man, you are old.
I know, 1996. So every time this has happened, my goal for myself and for my clients is that we emerge from this stronger than we went into it. For this particular situation, I see an opportunity, not to say an opportunity, but I see this spark of light, because, if you think about it, whenever there's been like a superhero movie, the superhero usually realize they have these powers when something bad's about to happen, and they stop it with that, that superpower. So I think that this is such an important time for people who might have been just having a job and getting, being stuck in the mundane, just going through the motion, so to speak. This is your opportunity to figure out what you're all about. Mm-hmm. Because I promise you, I can promise everybody out there, figure out what you're all about, and you'll find a way to connect and find value there for people. and you're going to grow through this as a person, as possibly an entrepreneur, as somebody that can form strategic alliances with other entrepreneurs. I mean, there's endless capabilities here. And yes, it is a very negative situation, but we can't do that. We can't do anything about it. We can't stop it by being upset. What can we do? Maybe we can add some joy by finding our own joy and our own peace. So that's what, what I'm excited for about in all of this. I'm excited for the yoga teacher that's going to find a new way to connect with her clients. I'm excited for just everybody that had that idea. I want to start something. This is the time to do it.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Vic, before we close, because I don't want to take this too long, because I want to make sure that we keep, like we said, we want to keep people's attention. Victor, what is your thoughts? Did you answer this question already? What's the meaning you're giving this?
No, not yet.
Okay, so what's the meaning you're giving this, and what emotion is that creating for you?
For me, the meaning is a couple things. For me, I believe for everybody else, it's a big eye opener. I'm pretty big on alternative routes in life, and this is an alternative way of thinking for other people to, number one, realize that we need another source of income. Relying on one source of income, things like this happen. We had a government shutdown a little while ago. Even those were hurt. Again, so I think of different routes of how to take my life and how to better myself. And as as Tiffany was saying, this is going to create people to think outside the box. I'm huge in that. Just put your brain to work. The other meaning for me is live your life to the fullest. They say you don't know when you're going to perish. And in this case, there are people that are perishing. This affects more of the elders, right? So,
It's what we know so far. Remember, today's March 20th. The thing is evolving. So far, that's the information we have. But this thing's changing so fast. We don't know where this thing is going. We're talking about the coronavirus, the COVID-19, and maybe in 30 days, guys, and maybe in a year, we'll be looking back at this video and we'll be saying, "Holy smokes! Remember when we didn't know, and all this stuff."
Yeah.
And I really believe that. And sometime we'll be looking back and say, "Well," because I believe in humankind. I believe that we have the best minds, and I believe when there's pain, people change. And I believe we're going to get resourceful. The scientists that are working on this stuff are working on it, around the clock, and we're going to get really resourceful and figure it out. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Victor.
No worries. And what I was going to say with that, with living life to the fullest, is, we're seeing a lot of people thinking for themselves as far as the pandemic going and supplies. But for me, the meaning is to give. Be there for others. Listen to others. See what their needs are. Just try to provide value. And, being stuck behind your own house, you can give in other ways. It's not materialistic thing. You can give in other ways, and that's the meaning for me.
Yeah, and that's good. And I want to wrap this up, but before we wrap it up, I want to share something. Jordan B. Peterson wrote a book, 12 Rules for Life, in an antidote to chaos. I just literally started reading this book. I just picked up this book. Jordan Peterson he's a professor, and he's a social scientist. He's a brilliant mind. I saw an interview of him the other day on YouTube. He's just a brilliant mind, which is what led me to pick up his book. And he says that when people go into his office and they have depression, the first thing he asks them, I thought was really interesting, is what's their sleep pattern? Do they wake up at around the same time every day that most people wake up? And if there's an erratic sleep pattern, he says that it's very difficult to fight depression. I say this to loop it around with, hey, we're home. Most people are home. Most people are in their rhythm of going to work every day, doing this, doing that, going to the grocery store, cutting the kids, taking them to soccer practice, coming home. Like everyone's in, and we've just been thrown this big monkey wrench and people don't know what to do. My suggestion, based on what the expert suggested in his book, and I'm gonna as I continue to read, I'll be sharing, because I hope to do this at least daily or a few times a week through this crisis, is that people find routines in their day, because when a human being is not growing and learning, he's dying, right? So when a human being doesn't feel like he's being productive, he literally starts to die. That's why the statistic when people retire, there's about 5 to 7 year span where the mortality rate rises, right? If you're not growing, literally, ladies and gentlemen, if we're not growing, we're dying, right? So my suggestion is, even though that you're homebound, or maybe you're quarantined, you're not going out and businesses are closed, find a routine for yourself. Wake up at a certain time. If you want to maybe journal, do a few things every day to start getting yourself in a routine, because what happens is you're waking up right now and you're like, holy shit, what do I do? Like, all right, like Netflix, news, or you gravitate to social media, or you gravitate to the news. And most people are watching this on social media. Another thing on social media is, I learned from Mr. Jordan Peterson, and it's no secret, everyone knows this, is that there is an association with depression and anxiety to the number of times that people click on, open up their Facebook. So I'm not suggesting that you just stop getting off of social media. However, what I am suggesting is to start paying attention how many times you're going on that thing, and how it's making you feel when you get off that. Like, really, guys, like, start paying attention. There are some really heavy statistics on that. And right now, we don't need more sources to make us feel disconnected and depressed. So my suggestion, and it's not me saying it, it's an expert saying it, Jordan B. Peterson. He wrote, the author of 12 Rules for Life, and I'm promoting his book right now. It's a great book. It's a little bit deep, but it's a great book. An antidote for chaos, an antidote to chaos, and we're in chaos. 12 Rules for Life, an antidote to chaos. Find consistency in your day right now. Create a routine in your day right now. You know, if it's going out in the yard and working, go out in the yard and do some yard work. Make yourself feel productive. Go work out. So if it's meditating for 2 minutes in the morning, writing in your journal, and then just doing 100 push-ups every day, find the routine. The brain, the human being needs some type of order. That's why a lot of people are feeling, holy crap. Yes or yes, guys? Right?
Yes.
We're trying to adjust, right? Seriously, guys, like, we're trying to adjust. Right now, we are trying to adjust to this new way. Like, holy smoke. Okay, so businesses are closed. What do we do? What are we doing? Like, aren't you guys going through that? Because I know I am. Right? Tiffany? You're in a virtual, Tiffany, you there?
Yep.
You do. I know you do a lot of business virtually, but still, you know, a lot of businesses are closed, right? So aren't you guys finding, you know, like, I have this thing, right, my habit tracker that I use, and this is something I use to watch my habits. And I'll share that if anybody wants that. Anybody wanting this, you want to measure your habits, and you want to look, you could text the word strategies to 33222, and I'm giving that to you for free. Strategies to 33222. But I have to readjust my habits right now because they're not relevant. Some are, most are not. Right, so I have to readjust, and I have to tweak and do some things because I got to get in a hypnotic rhythm through this time. Right, so how are you dealing with that stuff? How are you guys dealing with that stuff? And then we're real quick because we're way over, and we'll wrap it up. So if you go first. Creating new habits and consistency through this time.
Yeah, so, you know, I think we're still finding out what the new normal is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that anchoring yourself to at least one or two elements right now, you know, put your rocks in there. I say this when my toddler throws rocks. You got to put your rocks in there, and you have to say, okay, what's going to help me feel most fulfilled and satisfied right now as a personal endeavor? And everybody knows the old thing, you got to put your oxygen mask on before you put your kids on and your husband's on and things like that. So, you got to find that anchor. What's going to help you through this? Is it the journaling? Is it, what's that one thing? And then see where you can add on top of that. Do that habit stacking that Nick was talking about.
Nick?
Yeah. Me personally, I'm a huge advocate of stoicism. Basically, when things get harder for me, I literally chip away all the excess. Any excess areas that my energy is getting drained at has to be removed. And what that does is it simplifies everything for me. I'm able to focus a lot better because of that. And that way there's not 1,000 things to focus on. That's just something that works very, very well for me. It's always worked in my life. So that is what I have to say on that.
Lisa?
I would say for me, as far as adjustments, a lot of what I can do, I could do at home, which is good. I can't really be out in the field too much anymore. And then I also, too, have my children at home because they're not in school right now. So I'm trying to make sure that they're also in some good daily routines and that they're still learning and keeping their minds active, not just in television all day. I'm just trying to stay on top of, my workload and schedule and all my people that I usually have to wrangle together. And I'm making sure, like, I'm staying active, making sure I'm getting in that exercise. I can't go to the gym anymore. So now it's like, well, what do I do? Now I go, run around in the park and speed walk and run and whatever it is I can do, making sure I'm staying hydrated and, making sure that I'm being as productive as possible. So my day is focused on productivity, even if I have to adjust for activities because it can't be exactly the same, but we can all still be very productive even if we're stuck inside our homes.
Vic, real quick, because we are way over time.
Yeah, for me, just staying active. I'm not in the field anymore. Everything's shut down around me. I got the kids at the house. My wife is working from home, so creating habits. Trying to do them early in the morning before the kids are awake. Some, their schedule fluctuates, so sometimes they wake up a little later. I'm able to do more things in the morning. Transitioning that, if I can't do it in the morning, then I do it at night before going to sleep. And just being on top of the habit tracker, just making sure that I'm measuring everything, I'm writing everything down, and I picked up a new hobby. I'm actually editing photos that I take pictures, but I didn't have the time to edit them, so I'm editing photos and allocating some time towards that.
Great, good for you.
And just
Really
that allows me to free my mind and just focus on what I'm doing, and that's pretty much it. Just keeping track of those things.
Perfect. All right, guys, for those of you watching, thank you for watching. This is the Elite Mastermind Group. This is Martin Perdomo, the Elite Strategist. And we just wanted to share some positive news with you and some strategies on how you can cope and deal with the challenges going on right now in our world with this coronavirus thing. We'll come back to you tomorrow with some new stuff, new strategies. We'll see you tomorrow.